Good morning, everyone. Please post your doubts. So if you have any doubts in whatever we have done, including AS-24 of yesterday, AS-2 that we finished off earlier, quickly post your doubts. So quickly post your doubts. Let's solve that first. Then we go to AS-26. Okay, I guess there are no doubts, so we can begin. Oh, wait, I have one. It says if discontinuation means discontinuation of business, then would be there in the format in the column of continuing operations. So Spruha, please understand, if you have 5 operations and if you are discontinuing only one of them, then you have AS-24 applicable. However, if you have 5 operations, all 5 you are closing, then your business is closed. No need to report AS-24. AS-24 is reportable only when one of your business operations is going to be discontinued. So if all business operations are getting discontinued, then AS-24 is not applicable to you. Okay. Fine, then let's begin with accounting standard 26 intangible assets. Right, very good standard to understand. Interesting standard. You have practical and theory both concepts. So please pay attention. It says AS-26 intangible assets. Now, before we go to intangible assets, there are a couple of things that I want to explain to you. So please pay attention. It says accounting standard 26 is a residuary accounting standard. What is the meaning of residuary accounting standard? Residuary accounting standard means कि जब कोई accounting standard cover नहीं करता, कोई accounting standard किसी चीज के बारे में कुछ नहीं बोलता, तब accounting standard 26 applicable होता है. मतलब it is the last standard that you will apply for some of the concepts. Because if something is covered by some accounting standard, then AS-26 really will not interfere in that case. AS-26 will interfere only if no other accounting standard is guiding or saying something. So that is the meaning of residuary accounting standard. जब कोई भी accounting standard उस बात को applicable नहीं होता, तब last में हम AS-26 apply करते हैं, which is nothing but your intangible assets. Right, now the question is, what is the meaning of intangible? Intangible is something which is without physical substance. So I'm sure you would have studied that in the 11th standard. It is without physical presence or substance. It is without physical substance. However, it is still an asset because it can help you earn or generate revenue. Even when you were in your at your school level, they always taught you there is something known as deferred revenue expenditure. There is something known as deferred revenue expenditure because you had advertisement cost 1 lakh which you used to amortize over 5 years, so it used to be 20,000 per month, sorry, per annum. Now this deferred revenue expenditure concept is also closed by accounting standard 26. You cannot now have a deferred revenue expenditure concept. So accounting standard 26 also brought an end to the deferred revenue expenditure concept. Right after that, we will see how an intangible is to be recorded in the books, what will be the treatment of amortization of intangible, how will you calculate the useful life of an intangible. They will also, accounting standard 26 will also explain to you a very interesting concept known as research and development, which was later on amended by the accounting standard board. And then you have finally review at each balance sheet date, and of course revaluation of intangible assets. So it's a very simple standard, however it's a very important standard. A lot of questions are asked pertaining to this accounting standard in your exams, right? So with this basic knowledge, let's go to accounting standard 26. Let's step by step understand each point, each provision of the accounting standard, and then we will solve each and every question as we have done till now. Come to accounting standard 26. It says intangible assets. Definition of intangible asset. Intangible asset is identifiable. आप उसको identify कर सकते हैं. Intangible asset is identifiable. So I'm writing over here first, identifiable. Second, very important word, it is non-monetary asset. Right now, what is the meaning of the word non-monetary? Everyone quickly on your chat box. Can you physically see your bank balance? Can you physically see your bank balance? Yes or no? Can you physically see? Not on paper, not on computer system, physically. जैसे physically cash दिखता है, वैसे क्या आप अपना physically bank balance देख सकते हैं? नहीं देख सकते. You cannot see your bank balance. Right, now my question to you is, if you cannot see your bank balance, can I say it is your intangible asset? Can I say it is your intangible asset? Of course, yes. You are not able to see it. So of course we can call it an intangible asset. जिसको हम देख नहीं सकते, touch नहीं कर सकते, वो intangible asset होता है. But accounting standard 26 has introduced the word non-monetary. It should not be in money held form. वो money held form में नहीं होना चाहिए. If it is not in money held form, only then it will be called as an intangible asset. If it is in money held form, you cannot call it as your intangible asset. Are you getting it? Okay, look at the next point. It says intangible asset is what? Identifiable, non-monetary asset without physical substance. So there is no physical substance. It is not physically present, but it is held for use in first production of goods. Very important point. It is held for use in production of goods. Let's take the example of production of goods. Suppose I want to manufacture defense equipments, which includes bomb, guns, bullets, etc. Tell me, can anyone start manufacturing these products, or you need some kind of an approval? On your chat box, do you need some kind of an approval, or you can start manufacturing without any approval? I want to manufacture defense equipments. Do you think you need approval? Everyone on your chat box. Of course, you will need approval. So you go to the government and you tell the government कि सर मुझे बिजनेस करना है, मुझे तो डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट्स बनाना है, आप मुझे परमिशन दो. वो आपको कहते हैं कोई बात नहीं, हम परमिशन तो देंगे, लेकिन हम आपसे 1 करोड़ रुपए फीस लेंगे, which is a license to manufacture such equipments. कितना फीस मांगा? 1 करोड़। मैंने बोला कोई बात नहीं, मैं 1 करोड़ दूंगा, मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। नाउ माय क्वेश्चन टू यू इज yes or no, is this license, is this approval, is this permission helping you produce goods and earn money? Is it helping you to produce goods and earn money? Yes, definitely. It is definitely helping you to earn money. मतलब हमें future benefits मिलने वाला है इससे, right? Please pay attention to whatever I am saying. We are, let us go in complete depth as we always do. Conceptually, let's understand so that you will be very clear with everything that we are doing. So please pay attention. हमें future benefits मिलने वाले हैं. Second, if I pay 1 crore, if I pay 1 crore rupees and suppose my company is A Limited, after paying 1 crore and getting the license, who is the owner of the license? Who is the owner of the license? What is the name of the company that is the owner of the license? Everyone agrees A Limited? Okay, please pay attention. Which means after paying 1 crore, I become the owner and I also have future economic benefits. Now, if I have ownership, if I also have future economic benefits, this is definitely my asset. Everyone on your chat box, yes or no? You agree with me? मेरे पास ownership भी है, मेरे पास future benefits भी मुझे मिलने वाले हैं इस license से. मतलब technically ये क्या है? मेरा asset है. Do you all agree with me? Yes or no? Okay, great. Everyone agrees this is my asset. Now the question is, Ishika, if you cannot sell it, can you internally use it for your business? Yes or no? Yes. Then since you can internally use it, it is definitely your asset. It is helping you generate revenue. ऐसा कहीं पे भी नहीं लिखा हुआ है कि it should be sellable. ऐसा लिखा हुआ है either you will sell it or you will use it internally and generate future economic benefits. Right? I hope, Ishika, that is clear to you. Yes or no? Okay, let's proceed. So this is definitely my asset. Now the question is, the approval that I have, the permission that I have is intangible. Without physical substance, it is just on a piece of paper. That is why this is known as intangible asset. This is known as what? Your intangible asset, right? Because it is without physical substance and it is helping you generate revenue. This is the example of production of goods. The first point that we did, production of goods, right? So if you want to manufacture defense equipments, and to manufacture defense equipments, you will need government license. That government license is known as your intangible assets, helping you to produce some typical kind of goods. Right, come to the next one. Provision of services. Now, you can also provide services. Come to the next one. Provision of services. I hope you are aware that TCS has the license or has the approval from the government to issue your passport. My question to you is, can I issue passport? Yes or no? My question to you, everyone on your chat box, is, can I issue passports? No, I don't have any license to do that. So provision of services to issue passport is with whom? Is with TCS. TCS has also paid some amount, say for example, 50 lakh rupees to gain this license. Why has it obtained license? So that it can provide services of issuing passports. So because it is providing services of issuing passports, this 50 lakh rupees paid by TCS to the government for obtaining license is known as your intangible asset, which is helping you in provision of services. Are you getting it? Are you clear with these two? Quickly, everyone on the chat box, yes or no? Please reply so that I can understand whether you are with me and you are understanding or not, because this is an important standard. So please reply if I'm asking you something. Are you clear with this? Okay, excellent. Come to the third one. It says rental to others. It says which is held for use as production of goods, provision of services. Third, rental to others. Rental to others. Let's understand that. Say for example, I obtain, TCS gets master franchisee. Franchisee nahi, TCS gets master franchisee to issue passports for entire India. Pay attention. TCS gets master franchise to issue passports all over India. पूरे इंडिया में कौन इश्यू करेगा? सिर्फ TCS. TCS कहता है सॉरी हम जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में नहीं जाएंगे पासपोर्ट इशू करने, हम पंजाब में नहीं जाएंगे पासपोर्ट इशू करने, हमारे पास इतना स्टाफ ही नहीं है, तो हम जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में नहीं जाएंगे, पंजाब में नहीं जाएंगे, बाकी आप जहां बोलो वहां हम जाएंगे. द गवर्नमेंट से देखो मास्टर फ्रेंचाइजीज में ऐसा नहीं होता, हमने आपको पूरा इंडिया दे दिया है, आप चाहो तो आप किसी और को ये काम दे सकते हो. विच मीन्स in Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir, passport will be issued under TCS, but not by TCS. I am writing over here. It will be issued under TCS, but not by TCS. It will be issued under TCS, but not by TCS. TCS क्या करेगा? किसी कंपनी को बुलाएगा, बी लिमिटेड को, उसको कहेगा कि एक काम करो, हम तो पासपोर्ट इशू नहीं कर सकते, पंजाब में जाके आप पासपोर्ट इशू कर दो. बी लिमिटेड कहेगा सर हम कैसे इशू कर दे, हमारे पास तो लाइसेंस ही नहीं है. क्योंकि हमारे पास लाइसेंस नहीं है, हम इशू करेंगे हमारे पास, हमारा तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा, हमारे पास हमारे ऊपर केस हो जाएगा कि विदाउट लाइसेंस यू आर इशूइंग पासपोर्ट्स, और सीधा हमें इट विल बी अ क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस ऑन अस. टीसीएस से कोई बात नहीं, तुम्हारे पास लाइसेंस नहीं है, मेरे पास तो है, मैं वो लाइसेंस आपको रेंट पे दे देता हूँ, आप कुछ टाइम वो लाइसेंस यूज करना और आप पासपोर्ट इशू करना. लाइसेंस फीस का, लाइसेंस रेंट पे देने का इतना चार्ज है, आप हमको पे कर देना. सो दैट इज नोन एज गिविंग ऑन रेंटल टू अदर्स. सो यू कैन ऑल्सो हैव an intangible that you can lend it out as rental to others. Are you getting it? And come to the last point. So it says production of goods, provision of services, rental to others, or for administrative purposes. Very interesting point. For administrative purposes, right? Now pay attention. What is the meaning of administrative purposes? Say for example, we have 100 students at PSB in one batch, and sometimes we feel it is very difficult to manage everything of 100 students. Who has received the material, who has not received the material, who has appeared for the test, who has not appeared for the test, who has scored how many marks in the test. It is also very difficult to understand who has paid how much amount of fees. So what we do is we buy a software that will manage all information of the students. तो हमने एक सॉफ्टवेयर खरीदा, राइट. माई क्वेश्चन टू यू इज एवरीवन ऑन द चैट बॉक्स, क्या सॉफ्टवेयर नहीं है तो भी मैं पढ़ा सकता हूँ क्लास में? कैन आई स्टिल रन द क्लास इफ आई डू नॉट हैव दिस सॉफ्टवेयर? यस और नो? Yes, of course, software has not got nothing to do with teaching. Because software has got nothing to do with teaching, I can easily run my class without the software. But still I purchase the software. Why? ध्यान देना, for better administration. I purchase that software, I purchase that intangible asset for better administration, for proper administration. That is also your intangible asset. Are you getting it? That is also your intangible asset, the one that you purchased for better administration, for better running of your business. That is known as your intangible asset. Right, let's check that. It says, again I am reading for you. What is an intangible? Intangible asset is identifiable, non-monetary asset without physical substance, which is held for production of goods, provision of services, rental to others, and for administrative purposes, right? So again, let's quickly revise the definition. What is an intangible asset? It is identifiable but non-monetary asset, which is without physical substance, and it is held in the business for four things: production of goods, provision of services, rental to others, and for administrative purposes. Right, come to the next one. An asset can be considered as separately identifiable. So when can you consider your asset as separately identifiable? So your asset needs to be separately identifiable. If it gets merged with some other asset, then it takes the characteristics of that other asset. So it is very important that your intangible should be separately identifiable. We should be able to identify it separately, right? Your asset should always be separately identifiable. Let's understand the meaning of the word separately identifiable. An asset can be considered to be separately identifiable only if it has its identity separate and distinct from other assets. So if an asset is having its identity separate and distinct from other assets, then you can call it as a separately identifiable asset. अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग फॉर यू, अगर कोई ऐसी असेट है जो अलग है, सेपरेट है एंड डिस्टिंक्ट फ्रॉम द अदर असेट, देन यू कैन कॉल इट separately identifiable assets. Right, Ishika, your doubt is again getting solved over here. What is the meaning of separate and distinct from other assets? It can be sold, it can be used, or it can be rented out separately. So zaruri nahi hai sirf that it should only be sold. It should be sold, it can be rented out, and it can be used separately. Are you getting it? Right. So I hope, Ishika, that solves your doubt. It is not only about sale, it is also about being used or being rented out separately. Right. So I hope that is clear to you. Okay. Let's go to the next one. An intangible that does not satisfy the definition criteria, जो ऊपर definition दी है first paragraph में, और जो separately identifiable की बात की है second paragraph में. अगर कोई भी अगर कोई भी intangible ये definition criteria meet नहीं करता, if it does not satisfy this definition criteria, then it cannot be considered to be intangible and should be straight away charged to the profit and loss account. मतलब आप इसको बिल्कुल भी capitalize नहीं कर सकते, you will charge it to the profit and loss account. Are you getting it? So this will never be charged to the profit and loss account. It will be charged to the profit and loss account, and it cannot be capitalized as an intangible asset. Are you getting it? Again, let's quickly revise the first paragraph. It says intangible asset is an identifiable non-monetary asset without physical substance, which is held for use in production of goods, provision of services, rental to others, and for administrative purposes. And an asset will be called as separately identifiable if it has an identity separate and distinct from others, which means it can be sold, used, or rented out separately. An intangible that does not satisfy the definition criteria cannot be considered to be an intangible asset and will straight away go to the profit and loss account. Are you getting it? Okay, let's go to the next one then. Intangible assets that cannot be recognized. ध्यान देना, ये सारे intangible assets हैं, पर हम इनको recognize नहीं कर सकते. Intangible assets that cannot be recognized. First is self-generated goodwill, right? So tomorrow I will tell you. आपको पता है मैं कितना अच्छा पढ़ाता हूँ. मेरा खुद का goodwill 100 करोड़ है, right? मैं तो कुछ भी बोलूँगा. Does not mean that actually becomes your self-generated goodwill. So that is why the accounting standard board said everyone will always have a very high self-generated goodwill, and that will also not be true if you compare that with the market forces, right? Which means it is always good to keep self-generated goodwill outside the ambit of accounting standard 26. So these four are specifically excluded from being called as intangible asset. ये intangible asset है ही नहीं. कौन सा सबसे पहला क्या है? Self generated goodwill. Second, internally developed brand, right? So I can use the word Nike from today as Nike this way, right? So I can change my spellings, create my own internally developed brand, right? This is what happens. So You can create your internally developed brand, but that cannot be called as your intangible assets. Right, okay. Next point, market share. I cannot say that there are 200 students studying in Vadodara. Out of that, 150 are studying with me. So I have a huge market share, and because I have a huge market share, that is my intangible asset. Absolutely incorrect. That cannot be said. So market share is also never your intangible asset, because this market share is not helping you earn revenue. Plus, there is no official ownership as well of this kind of a claim that you will make. So this is not your intangible asset. And finally, customer list. So suppose I say that I have the contact numbers of 600 students, and 600 students, if I call them, they can help me get more students. Again, this is not your intangible asset, because customer list will never be considered as your intangible asset. Are you getting it? Right. So quickly, 4 points which are specifically excluded by AS-26. ये intangible asset हो ही नहीं सकते. First is self-generated goodwill. Second is internally developed brand. Third is market share, and the fourth one is your customer list. Are you getting it? Okay, let's come to the last point of the first section of accounting standard 26. After this, the first part of the accounting standard is over. So let's concentrate on the last part, which says नीचे वाले चार इंटेंजिबल असेट तो 100% है, पर AS-26 में नहीं आते. क्यों? क्योंकि कोई और अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड उनको कवर करता है. और मैंने आपको पहले ही समझाया कि अगर कोई अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड किसी एक टॉपिक को कवर करता है, then no other accounting standard will come and interfere in that case, because something is already covered by accounting standard 20, some other accounting standard. AS-26 will never interfere in that case. As such, we began this accounting standard by understanding that AS-26 is a residuary accounting standard. अगर कोई अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड किसी कंसेप्ट को कवर नहीं करेगा, तब जाके AS-26 उस पे अप्लाई होगा in terms of intangible assets. Right, okay, let's quickly understand intangible assets which are outside the scope of accounting standard 26. मतलब AS-26 में ये intangible asset नहीं आ सकते. क्यों? क्योंकि कोई और accounting standard इनको cover कर रहा है. Come to the first one, which is purchased goodwill. So purchased goodwill is already covered by accounting standard 14, that is accounting for amalgamations. Because it is already covered by accounting standard 14, no other accounting standard will interfere in this case of purchased goodwill. Come to the next one, goodwill on consolidation. So goodwill on consolidation means when you have consolidation, AS-21 and 23 are applicable. Any goodwill calculated under that will be covered by AS-21, and AS-26 will not interfere in this case. Come to the next one, which is your VRS expenditure. Again, VRS expenditure is covered by AS-15. Because AS-15 is covering this, AS-26 cannot interfere in this case. And indirect cost for leases is again covered by AS-19. We have already studied this. So since it is covered by AS-19, AS-26 cannot interfere in that case. Which means, look at the note that I've given. Which means, in simple words, AS-26 does not apply to those intangibles which are covered by some other accounting standard. So if some other accounting standard is already covering your intangible assets, then AS-26 will not cover that. AS-26 will not interfere in that case. Why? Because some other accounting standard is already covering that portion of the intangible asset. Are you getting it? Let's quickly revise this much first, then we go to the next part. We are doing AS-26, which is known as intangible assets. What is the definition of an intangible asset? It is an identifiable non-monetary asset without physical substance. It is held for use in production of goods, provision of services, rental to others, and for administrative purposes. An asset can be considered as separately identifiable if it has an identity which is distinct and separate from the other assets, which means it can be sold, used, or rented out separately. An intangible asset that does not satisfy the definition criteria cannot be considered as an intangible and will straight away go to the profit and loss account, which means it will be charged to revenue. You have 4 points which are specifically excluded by AS-26. They will not be considered as your intangible assets. The first one is self-generated goodwill. The second one is internally developed brand. The third one is market share, and the fourth one is customer list. The next 4 items are definitely your intangible assets, but they are out of the scope of accounting standard 26 because some other accounting standard is covering them, which is purchased goodwill, goodwill on consolidation, VRS expenditure, and initial direct cost for leases, which simply means that if some other accounting standard is covering a particular intangible asset, then AS-26 will not interfere in this case. AS-26 will apply only if no other accounting standard becomes applicable to that intangible asset. Are you getting it? That brings you to the end of the first part of your accounting standard 26. Quickly tell me on the chat box, are you clear with this? Yes or no? Everyone on the chat box. Then I will take a couple of doubts that I have. So everyone quickly on your chat box. Are you clear with whatever we have done? The first part of the accounting standard? Quickly put it on the chat box. Akshay, Aman, Aksa, Bhavin, Dipesh, Dhara, Digesh, Tulsi, Harshit, Ishika, Ishita, Jalpan, Khushi. Are you all clear with the first part of the accounting standard? Manav, Om, Pavan, Pushti, Raghav, Raj, Rizwan, Rohan, Shifa, Shreyas, Simran, Spruha, Yash, Shruti. Are you all absolutely clear with this? Okay. I have one doubt which says, what is VRS expenditure? Okay. VRS expenditure. Now, VRS expenditure means voluntary retirement scheme. Now, what happens is you will study this when you study AS-15 in the final level. But what happens is VRS expenditure is something that an employee will get. Something that an employee will get if he takes retirement from the organization before his age of retirement. Say, for example, my age of retirement is 60. I tell the company I don't want to work at the age of 50. I am retiring. I want voluntary retirement scheme. Then the company will give me 10 years pay right now. It will give me 10 years pay right now. And that will be considered as VRS expenditure for the government. Sorry, for the company, not for the government. It will be VRS for the company. So basically, all you need to understand at this level is VRS means voluntary retirement scheme. It is a post-employment benefit. It is a post-employment benefit that is given. Right. I hope, Raj, that is clear to you. Okay, I have one more doubt which says why customer list cannot be recognized as an intangible asset. Can you earn more revenue from the customer list? Customer list is nowhere helping you earn more revenue. Because the customer list is nowhere helping you earn more revenue, you have no future economic benefits. So that is why you cannot consider it as an intangible asset. So how it is an intangible asset is a concept of AS-15. There you will understand that in accounting standard 15, how does the company take, or how a company will get benefit of this VRS expenditure that they are making, right? So there are a lot of rules that that employee cannot now work in the same category of companies. So suppose if Reliance Steel, say for example Tata Steel, if Tata Steel is giving VRS, then that person cannot work in any other company that is working in steel. So there are a lot of other benefits that the company gets by giving VRS. So that is why they treat it as a kind of intangible. Now in detail, AS-15 will explain to you. As of now, you need to understand that this expenditure may be an intangible, but AS-26 will not cover it. Right? I hope, Raj, that is clear to you. Okay, perfect. I had one more doubt. I guess I missed that somewhere. Just give me a minute. Okay, I have one doubt which says how deferred expenditure is satisfying this definition. So, Spru, I request you to just wait. The next point that we are going to do is deferred revenue expenditure. That is the time when I guess your doubt will be solved. Right. So, I hope you all are clear with whatever we are doing, and we can now proceed to part 2 of accounting standard 26. Right. Please pay attention. It says end of concept of डिफर्ड रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर. अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड 26 ने ये पूरा कंसेप्ट ही खत्म कर दिया. द कंसेप्ट ऑफ deferred revenue expenditure. Right? Dhyan dena, what is the meaning of your deferred revenue expenditure? And we will also understand why was there an end to the deferred revenue expenditure. Let's understand that. It says deferred revenue expenditure does not satisfy the definition criteria of AS-26. कौन सा definition criteria satisfy नहीं किया है? It cannot be separately identified. मतलब you cannot sell deferred revenue expenditure separately. Because you cannot sell or use deferred revenue expenditure separately, it cannot be treated as an intangible asset. Look at the last statement. No expenditure can be deferred unless it is allowed by any other accounting standard. So if some other accounting standard allows it, okay, no problem. If no other accounting standard is allowing it, then you cannot have a deferred revenue expenditure concept. We have brought an end to the deferred revenue expenditure concept. Are you getting it? So Spruva, you had a doubt that which condition is not getting satisfied. How is it fulfilling the condition? It is not fulfilling the condition. It cannot be separately identified. That is why deferred revenue expenditure has been removed from accounting standard 26. Are you getting it? Now let's understand this with the help of an example as to why did they remove it. See, if they wished, they could have modified the definition and added something to include deferred revenue expenditure. क्योंकि आप लोग 10th standard से 11th standard से पढ़ते हुए आ रहे हैं, तो इन्होंने क्यों ये concept निकाला वो बात ध्यान से समझना. Let's take this example, and I want everyone to help me out with the answer to this. Suppose this is my balance sheet. This is my balance sheet. I have capital over here. I have long-term loans. I have long-term loans. I have creditors. I have short-term loans, and I have advances taken. ये सब क्या है? मेरी liability. सामने मेरी assets क्या है? Fixed assets. Say for example debtors. Then you have prepaid expenses, and after that you also have preliminary expenses. Okay, take a good look at this entire balance sheet that I have prepared, and everyone on the chat box, please understand my question. My question on the chat box is very simple. I have decided to close this business. I want to close this business. I want to close this business and I want your help. So everyone on the chat box, my question to you is, if I decide कि आज से business बंद करना है, क्या fixed asset मैं बेच पाऊंगा? Yes or no? क्या fixed asset मैं बेच पाऊंगा? Yes or no? Everyone agrees? Yes. Okay. क्या मैं debtors से पैसे recover कर पाऊंगा? Yes or no? क्या मैं debtors से पैसे recover कर पाऊंगा? Yes or no? Okay. Yes. Perfect. If I have paid a subscription of 12,000 per annum and after 6 months I decide to close the business, 6 months का जो prepaid है, क्या can I sell that to someone else? Can I sell prepaid expenditure to someone else? To whom will you sell and what will you sell as prepaid expenditure? To whom will you sell? Most of the prepaid expenditures are non-transferable. What will you sell? Every prepaid expenditure is non-transferable. Because it is non-transferable, you cannot sell it. And because you cannot sell it, it cannot be sold separately. Right? Question number 2 to everyone, please pay attention. Can you sell preliminary expenses that you write off over 5 years? Can you sell preliminary expenses? No. Which means when it comes to closing down your business, you cannot sell the deferred revenue expenditure, though it is seen on the asset side of the balance sheet. You can see it on the asset side of the balance sheet, but you cannot sell it. That is why Accounting Standard Board identified that this cannot be sold. This cannot be sold, and since it cannot be sold, let us end the deferred revenue expenditure concept. Are you getting it? Okay. I have one doubt which says, can we not recover the services for any prepaid expenses? Okay. You help me, Ishita. How will you recover it? Since you're closing your business, suppose you know Ishika on the chat box. Do you know something known as yellow pages? Do you know what is yellow pages? Ishita, do you know what is yellow pages? Okay. So yellow pages is a directory. Is a physical directory like you have just dial. जैसे जस्ट डायल होता है वैसे येलो पेजेस एक डायरेक्टरी है, पर चलो आपको येलो पेजेस नहीं पता तो लेट्स टेक द एग्जांपल ऑफ जस्ट डायल. आपने जस्ट डायल पे एक साल का मेंबरशिप लिया है 12,000 का फॉर 1 year. आफ्टर 6 months यू क्लोज योर बिजनेस. मतलब 6,000 is your expenditure, 6,000 is prepaid expense. Or let me take a very simple example. Please pay attention. I'll give you a very easy example. You may get confused in this. You paid 24,000 advance, 2 years subscription. Just dial. You paid 2 years subscription. Just dial. 24,000 में आपने 2 साल का सब्सक्रिप्शन लिया किसका? जस्ट डायल का. अब आपने 2 साल का सब्सक्रिप्शन लिया 24,000 में. आफ्टर 1 year you decided to close the business. After 1 year you decided that okay, now I'm closing the business. Tell me, how will you recover from just dial? Their policy is no refund, no transfer, no exchange, nothing. Explain to me, is there any chance? Of course not. Since it is not there, you will definitely not have this as your deferred revenue expenditure henceforth. You will charge it straight away to the profit and loss account. Right, okay, I have one more doubt which is, why do we record prepaid expenditure on the asset side as they are also not sellable? You used to record it earlier, which the accounting standard board later understood कि ये तो गलती कर रहे हैं हम, and that is why they amended the entire accounting standard 26. And because they amended the entire accounting standard 26, now you have the revised, which is the correct treatment. आज से पहले हम सब गलत रिकॉर्डिंग करते थे या हमने गलत फॉलो किया है. अब अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड 26 को खुद रियलाइज हुआ कि नहीं ये गलत है, हमको इसको चेंज करना चाहिए. एंड दैट इज व्हाई दे डिसाइडेड टू एंड द डिफर्ड रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर कंसेप्ट. राइट, आई होप इशिता एंड स्प्रू आर योर डाउट्स आर सॉल्व्ड. यस और नो? No, it won't be against the matching concept because you will have to debit it to the profit and loss account, and because you will debit it to the P&L, I don't think there will be any problem with the matching cost with revenue concept. You are reaping benefits in your business from the expenditure that you are making, so that will never affect your matching cost with revenue concept. So yes, bro, I am also answering about prepaid expenditure only. Prepaid expenditure will now straight away the entire expenditure will go to the profit and loss account. Okay. Next point says, if we are closing the business, then we can't sell the license also, and then it will also not generate future economic benefits. Yes, so Ishika, can you explain the doubt to me? I did not understand your doubt. You said if we are closing the business, then we can't sell license also, and then it is also not generating future economic benefits. Right, but what are you trying to say because of this? Considering what? Okay, considering license as an asset, right? So please pay attention again. Whenever you go to obtain a license, the first question that they will ask you is, for how many years will you run it? You tell them that I will run it for 5 years, so they will give you 5 years license. So you cannot close your business in any case. You cannot close your business. Why you cannot close your business? Because it is absolutely clear that once you cannot close your business, because we are giving you an important contract, and because we are giving you an important contract, you cannot revoke or you cannot cancel your business or close your business till we tell you, because we have given you a license for the same. अगर नहीं चाहिए तो हम आपको लाइसेंस नहीं देंगे. तो सबसे पहले तो वो कंडीशन होती है. दूसरा, वो आपको बोल देते हैं पहले से कि अगर आपने लाइसेंस बाद में अगर आप बिजनेस बंद भी कर देते हो तो भी ये पैसा आपको रिफंडेबल नहीं होगा. आप डिसाइड कर लो. नाउ at the first place you will never close your business solely because if you do that you will be under huge losses. So one thing is clear, you will never close down your business in this case. However, sometimes in some contracts the government gives you a chance to transfer this license to someone else, or as we have studied earlier, give it on rental basis. So because you're giving it on rental basis, then of course you can recover this money. That is why they allow you to take the license expenditure as an intangible asset, because one, the reason I explained to you right now. Second, it also satisfies the definition criteria of accounting standard 26. Are you getting that? I hope, Ishika, that solves your doubt. Yes, okay. Now, Raj, the answer to your question is you cannot line by line match every rupee with a revenue. So if I get revenue in the current year, have I spent in the current year? The answer is yes. However, the question is that when you have an intangible asset, you cannot define कि किसका benefit मुझे कौन से साल में मिला. I'll give you an example. Suppose you make a very huge expenditure. Okay, say for example, you make an expenditure for Just Dial. You make an expenditure for Just Dial 24,000. ध्यान देना, मेरे हिसाब से 24,000 सीधा PNL में जाना चाहिए. क्यों? क्योंकि मान लो अगर 24,000 से आपको फर्स्ट ईयर में कोई कस्टमर मिला फ्रॉम जस्ट डायल, यू गॉट योर फर्स्ट क्लाइंट फ्रॉम जस्ट डायल in the very first year when you paid the subscription. Now that client is continuing with you for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. What will you do? In the second year, will you say no, let me record this revenue in the first year? Why? Because I paid for Just Dial in the first year, or Just Dial ka cost is recorded in that year, so let me not record it in the second year. Will you record your revenue also in the first year? I'm again repeating my question to you. My question to you is, पहले साल में आपसे क्लाइंट ने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया 12,000, आपको 12,000 मिल गया. आपने खुद को समझाया कि 12,000 रेवेन्यू मिला, जस्ट डायल का कॉस्ट 12,000, मेरा पैसा वसूल हो गया, मुझे पैसा रिकवर हो गया. मैचिंग कॉस्ट विद रेवेन्यू परफेक्टली डन. Come to year number 2. Again that client gives you a fees of 12,000. Again you think, now you think in this way कि पैसे तो मैंने फर्स्ट ईयर में भरे थे, लेकिन बेनिफिट मुझे सेकेंड ईयर में मिल रहा है. मतलब ये मैचिंग कॉस्ट विद रेवेन्यू नहीं है. एक काम करता हूँ, मैं इसको भी फर्स्ट ईयर में रिकॉर्ड करता हूँ. कैन यू डू दैट? यस और नो? दैट इज माय क्वेश्चन टू यू. नो, यू कैन नॉट डू दैट. Which means, can I say you're violating the matching cost with revenue concept? I cannot say that. Matching cost with revenue concept is there, but there are some expenses for which line to line practically you cannot match it. So the accounting standard board says कि आपने एक एक्सपेंडिचर आज कर दिया है, वो एक्सपेंडिचर का बेनिफिट आपको बहुत आगे जाके मिलने वाला है, या कई बार इस साल नहीं मिलता, आने वाले साल मिलता है. Which means you record it as an expense in the current year. Whenever you start recovering it, you will record the revenue in that very year. For example, you give sponsorship. Suppose, Raj, you give sponsorship to United Way of Baroda in one Garba. You give sponsorship. It is definitely not your asset. It is your advertisement expenditure. You pay 5 lakh rupees over there. You do not get any benefit in the first year, second year. Someone in the third year tells you कि मैंने आपका ad देखा था United Way में, इसलिए मैं आपका कस्टमर इसलिए मैं आपसे मटेरियल खरीदने आया हूँ. आपका एडवर्टीजमेंट भी अच्छा था और आप अच्छे स्पॉन्सर है, और यूनाइटेड वे ने अगर आपको अलाउ किया है, मतलब आई एम श्योर आप बहुत अच्छा काम करते हो. सो आई वांट टू बाय फ्रॉम यू इन द थर्ड ईयर. यू मेड एक्सपेंडिचर इन द फर्स्ट ईयर. नाउ यू हैव टू चॉइसेस. Either you cancel the expenditure of the first year advertisement expenditure and put it in the third year, or you put the revenue of third year in the first year. So practically everywhere matching cost with revenue in limited cases is not practical. 99% yes, it is possible. 1% practically, I don't think it is possible. So in that case, the accounting standard board is very clear. Put it straight away as your revenue expenditure. Are you getting it? Right? I hope that solves your doubt. Yes or no? Okay, perfect. And I guess, I hope Ishika and Sprua, your doubts are also now clear. Okay, that is your end of the deferred revenue expenditure concept. Let's look at the last point of this part of the accounting standard, and then we move to the next one. Okay, let's understand this end of deferred revenue expenditure concept. फिर से समझते हैं. It says deferred revenue expenditure does not satisfy the definition criteria of AS-26, and that is it cannot be recognized separately. That is why you cannot treat it as your intangible asset. No expense can be deferred unless it is allowed by some other accounting standard. Only if it is allowed by some accounting standard, you will defer it. Else, you cannot defer it as per accounting standard 26. Okay, come to the next point. AS-26 specifically excludes the following. That is, the following can never be deferred. कोई और accounting standard भी इनको defer नहीं कर सकता. 4 expenditure कौन से हैं? Preliminary expenses, staff training cost, advertisement and sales promotion cost, relocation and reorganization cost. So expenses like staff training, आपने staff को training आज दिया, वो train होके आपको अच्छे से काम आने वाले साल में करके देंगे. Again, you cannot record it as your deferred revenue expenditure concept. Advertisement and sales promotion, again we discussed that earlier. Relocation, reorganization cost, all these cannot ever be deferred by any other accounting standard also. Right, so your 4 expenses that are specifically excluded from AS-26 are preliminary expenses, staff training cost, advertisement and sales promotion, and relocation and reorganization cost. मतलब ये तीसरी बार हम देख रहे हैं कि 4 चीजें एक्सक्लूडेड है. सबसे पहले हमने यहाँ पे देखा था the following intangible assets cannot be recognized. First is your self-generated goodwill, your internally developed brand, your customer share, and your customer list. Intangibles that are outside the scope of AS-26 is purchase goodwill, goodwill on consolidation, VRS expenditure, and initial direct costs for leases. And then the following can never be deferred: preliminary expenses, staff training cost, advertisement and sales promotion cost, and relocation and reorganization cost. Okay, quickly on your chat box, are you clear till here? Yes or no? Whatever we have done, are you clear till here? Quickly, everyone on the chat box. Yes or no? Okay, perfect. If everyone is clear, I think let's take a break over here, and then we continue with the third part of the accounting standard, AS-26. So take a 10 minutes break. Right now it is 9:02, so we meet somewhere between 9:10 to 9:12, and then we continue with the third part. So please take a 10 minutes break, and then we continue with AS-26. Okay, let's continue. Come to the next one, which is accounting for intangible assets. So how will you record? How will you do the accounting for intangible assets, right? Please pay attention. The first one is initial recognition. So initially, every intangible asset will be recorded at cost. Underline that. Initially, every intangible asset will be recorded at cost. What is the meaning of cost? Let's understand that. If you have direct purchases, then you have purchase price paid plus registration cost, legal cost, non-refundable taxes and duties, expenses to remove infringement relating to lawsuit. Okay, let's understand this carefully. ध्यान देना, बहुत interesting concept है. It says expenses to remove infringement relating to lawsuit. In सबका total will give you total value of intangible. Any expense on lawsuit at the time of registration, please underline this, at the time of registration shall only be capitalized. Any further expense incurred subsequently will be charged to the profit and loss account. So any subsequent expenditure will go to the profit and loss account. Right, let's quickly understand this. Say for example, I want to buy one intangible asset, and suppose the intangible asset is of 1,50,000. When I go to buy, the person who is selling me tells me कि हमारे इस intangible पे there is an ongoing case. मतलब मैंने खरीदा, उसके पहले से केस चल रहा है. मैंने उस पार्टी को ऐसा कहा कि सर ये केस वेस तो हम सब लड़ लेंगे, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, आप हमको दे दो. Now please understand, before I purchase there is an ongoing case, which means first I have to buy. Before putting it to use, I have to settle the case. After I settle the case, only then I will be able to use the intangible. पता चल रहा है जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ? हमने एक इंटेंजिबल खरीदा, तब उस पे केस चल ही रहा था. हमने खरीदा, उसके बाद केस नहीं हुआ. हमने खरीदा, उससे पहले से एक केस चल रहा है. अब अगर मुझे इंटेंजिबल यूज करना है तो पहले केस को सेटल करना पड़ेगा. मतलब बिफोर पुटिंग टू यूज, I am making expenditure on lawsuit to settle the case. The question to you is again, am I incurring expenses before putting to use or after putting to use? Quickly on the chat box. Am I incurring expenditure on lawsuit before put to use or after put to use? Quickly, everyone on the chat box, before or after? Everyone on your chat box, क्या मैं legal expenses before putting to use, am I incurring that, or after putting to use? Of course, before putting to use. Now, any expenditure that is done before you put the asset to use will be capitalized. So this expenditure will be capitalized. So any expenditure incurred before the asset is put to use on the legal suit or on the cases that are ongoing will be capitalized. Right. Come to the next one. What if I buy the intangible asset? That time there was no case. After I purchased it, after I starting putting it to use, someone filed a case on me. Now tell me on the chat box, am I going to incur legal expenses before putting to use or after putting to use? Quickly, everyone on your chat box. This time, before or after? After. This will be charged to revenue. Means this will go to the profit and loss account. This will directly go to the profit and loss account. Are you getting it? Now you should have a question, sir. What is the reason for the same? You should have a question that what is the reason for the same. क्यों ऐसा कि before put to use हो तो capitalize, after put to use हो तो revenue. अब इस बात पे ध्यान देना. If you incur any expenditure before you put to use, my question to you is, Are you fighting the case to get ownership or maintain ownership? Or let me make it easier for you. Are you doing it to get rights to use or maintain right to use? Everyone on your chat box, if you make an expenditure before put to use, क्या आप वो खर्चा राइट्स ऑब्टेन करने के लिए कर रहे हो कि राइट्स को मेंटेन करने के लिए कर रहे हो? Everyone think and tell me on your chat box, are you doing it to maintain the right to use or to obtain the right to use? To obtain the right to use means to get the right to use. Now because you are going to avail, because you are going to get the right to use by this expenditure, it is a capital expenditure to be capitalized. Next case, आपने यूज करना चालू कर दिया, बाद में आप पे किसी ने केस किया. अब जो आप केस करने वाले हैं, क्या आप उसको ऑब्टेन करने के लिए करेंगे या मेंटेन? Will you do it to obtain or maintain? You will of course do it to maintain. Now because you are doing this expenditure to maintain, this is a revenue expenditure. This is what? A revenue expenditure. And that is why it will go to the profit and loss account. Okay, quickly on your chat box. Are you clear with this? Yes or no? Quickly, everyone on your chat box. Are you clear with this? Okay, perfect. If everyone is clear, let's go to the next one. So this is how you will calculate the cost of intangible if you have directly purchased the intangible. Come to the next one. By issue of securities, the fair market value of the securities issued. So you will see the fair market value of the securities issued. So by issue of securities means fair market value of the securities issued. So if suppose you want to buy an intangible but you do not have money, so you are saying कि मैं आपको shares दे देता हूँ, मेरे पास shares securities पड़े, मैं आपको shares दे देता हूँ, आप सामने मुझे intangible asset दे दो. Then in this case, what will you take as the cost of the intangible? The fair market value of the securities that you issue. Come to the next one. In exchange of another asset, आपके पास एक asset है, आप बोल रहे हो मेरे पास पैसे नहीं है, आप मुझे intangible दो, मैं आपको सामने एक asset दे देता हूँ. In that case, your cost will be fair market value of the asset that you gave up, of the asset given up. That will be the fair market value of the asset given up. Right, come to the next one. Question number 1, let's solve this question. Right, so let's quickly revise before we go to question number 1. How will you record for the account? How will you account for the intangible assets? Initially, every intangible asset will be recorded at cost. If you directly purchase the asset, it will be purchase price paid, add registration cost, legal cost. To that, you will add non-refundable duties and taxes, expenses to remove infringement relating to lawsuit. You will get your total intangible asset. By issue of securities, you will take the fair market value of the securities issued. If it is an exchange of another asset, you will have fair market value of the asset that you gave up. Right, then let's solve question number 1. So put question number 1, let's solve this. Can someone please help me on the chat box on which page number is this question in your study material? Page 172. Okay, So this question is given to you on page 172. Do mark it important. Last day revision question. Let's understand this question. It says a company acquired for its internal use a software on 28/1/2012 from US for 1 lakh US dollars. The exchange price on that date was 52 rupees per dollar. The seller allowed a trade discount of 5%. The other expenditure were as follows. So the other expenditures were, they've given you the list of expenditures that you incurred. The first one was import duty at 20%, purchase tax at 10%, entry tax 5%, which is recoverable later from the tax department, installation expenses 25,000, profession fees for clearance of customs 20,000. करना क्या है? Calculate the cost of software to be capitalized. So put your first statement as per accounting standard 26 intangible assets. So let's put that. As per accounting standard 26, intangible assets. Calculation of cost of intangible assets. Calculation of cost of intangible assets. Prepare your format. You will have particulars, note number, amount should be in rupees. Prepare systematic format. Prepare your format. You first have the purchase cost. So purchase cost is 1 lakh US dollars. So let's begin with that. Let's take purchase cost. We will refer that in note 1. US dollars 1 lakh. Always when you purchase, first we deduct the trade discount. So less. Deduct the trade discount first. Trade discount at 5%. 5,000. Deduct 5,000 US dollars. You will get what? 95,000 US dollars. You will get 95,000 US dollars. Look at your exchange rate in the question. Exchange rate is rupees 52 per dollar. Value, or you can say cost, in INR will be 95,000 USD into rupees 95. Calculate that. You have 95,000 into 52. You get 49 lakh 40,000. So put over here 49 lakh 40,000. 49 lakhs 40,000. Put over there 49 lakh 40,000. Okay, everyone on your chat box. Will you import first or will you pay local purchase tax first? What happens first? Imports or local purchases? Of course, import will happen first. So add imports. Of course, imports will happen first. First, you will import. Then you will come in India and then you will pay its tax. You cannot pay the Indian tax first. Of course, you will have to import first. Import duty at 20%, which will be 49 lakh 40,000 into 20%. This will be 49 lakh 40,000 into 20%. Let's calculate that into 20%. 9 lakh 88,000. So put over there 9 lakh 88,000. Take your total 49 lakh 40,000 plus 9 lakh 88,000. See how much do you get? You get 59 lakh 28,000. $59 lakh 28,000. To this we will add purchase tax at, what's your rate of purchase tax? 10%. So put over here 10%. Now purchase tax will be on 59 lakh 28,000. Be careful with that. Don't make that silly mistake. You get 5 lakh 92,800. 5,92,800. Take your total. You get 65,20,800. 65,20,800. Okay, everyone on your chat box. Will you take entry tax recoverable later from the tax department? Yes or no on the chat box. Will you take entry tax? Of course, you will not take that. Why? Because it is your refundable tax and duty. So you will not take this. Okay, so let's leave that. What about the next one? You have then installation expenses 25,000. That will be included. So installation expenses 25,000. Installation expenses 25,000. Then you have professional fees for clearance of customs. That will also be included. So professional fees for custom clearance. Professional fees for custom clearance. Working note 1, that will also be included. Please check how much that is. 20,000. Anything else to be added? That's it. Let's take the total. 65,20,000 plus 25,000 plus 20,000. You get 65,65,800. You get 65,65,800. Take this down properly. If you have any doubts, please ask me. This is cost of intangible asset. This is nothing but your cost of intangible asset. Take it down properly. You will need two notes. First, purchase price, import duty, purchase tax, installation expenses, and professional fees for clearance will be added to the cost of intangible. Second, entry tax is a refundable tax and duty, and hence will not be included in calculating Cost of intangible. Take this down properly. Are you all clear with this? On your chat box quickly, yes or no? Are you clear with this question, yes or no? Simple question hai. If you're clear with this, take it down properly. Take it down properly. Once you're done, put it on the chat box that you're done. If entry tax in this case was a refundable tax and duty, then we would have calculated it on this value, 65,20,800. This is the value on which we would have calculated it. Fine, I think this much is sufficient for today. Please go back today and revise whatever we have done. If you have any doubts, please get back to me. Do revise everything. You have no lecture of accounting standard tomorrow. You also do not have any lecture of accounting standard on Saturday. I will now see you on Sunday, and then we go to the next part of AS-26. Right. Thank you so much for attending. If you have any doubts, please get back to me. Please remember, you must revise the entire accounting standard. Study with me so that you finish off your syllabus with me. I presume that if everything goes fine, in the month of May, I will finish off your entire accounting standard syllabus. So you must also ensure that the day I finish my syllabus, the next day, your syllabus is also over. Right. Thank you so much for attending, and please revise AS-26, the part that we have done today. Revise it today itself. Fine. Thank you for attending, and I'll see you now on Sunday. Bye.